Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our roundtable discussion on one of the most powerful quotes about education I have ever encountered. Before we dive into this, let me ask you something. When was the last time you stopped to think about what it means to actually read these words I'm about to say?
That's deep, Lanela. You're already making us think.
Exactly, because today we're exploring this incredible statement by Kofi Annan, the former UN Secretary General. And it states, acquiring literacy is an empowering process, enabling millions to enjoy access to knowledge and information, which broadens horizons, increases opportunities, and creates alternatives for building a better life.
And I just say that this quote gives me chills every time.
Right? And here's what we're going to do. We're five passionate educators here who strongly agree with Annan's position, and we're going to break down exactly why literacy isn't just about reading and writing, but it's about power, possibility, and transformation.
And we've got the research to back it up.
Absolutely. So let's structure this conversation around three key arguments. Dr. Jadavi, you're starting us off with how literacy broadens horizons. Ms. Lisi, you'll tackle economic opportunities with the real world examples. Ms. Hernessa and Ms. Tricia, you're bringing home the social participation and life choices. Is everyone ready?
Ready.
Great. Now, Dr. Jadavi, take us into your world. How does literacy actually broadens horizons?
Thank you, Leonella. Now, imagine for a moment you're in a room with locked doors all around you. Each door leads to a different world, whether it be in history, science, culture, art. Now, literacy. Literacy is the key master.
Oh, I love that metaphor.
Now, when someone acquires literacy, they are not just learning to decode symbols on a page. According to UNESCO's 2021 Global Education Monitoring Report, literacy enables critical thinking and informed decision-making. Think about what that means in our information-driven world.
Can you give us a concrete example?
Absolutely. Consider two individuals in the same village, one with literature and one isn't. When a health crisis hits, let's say information about the disease prevention is published, the literature person can access that information directly.
Literate.
They can read literate. They can read government notices, health pamphlets, online resources. Now, the non-literate person, they're dependent on others to interpret that information for them.
And you know that dependence limits the autonomy.
Exactly, Lizzie. UNESCO emphasizes that without literacy, people remain trapped in information poverty. But with literacy, they can read newspapers, access digital content, understand educational materials. Now, they're exposed to ideas beyond their immediate environment.
So you're saying literacy is fundamentally about independence?
Independence and expansion. When you can read, you can explore different cultures through literature, understand historical perspectives, engage with scientific discoveries. Now, your worldview isn't limited to what people tell you. It's shaped by direct access to human knowledge.
Can I share a quick story here that illustrates this beautifully?
Please do.
I once worked with an adult literacy program in the rural areas, and there was this woman. Let's just call her Maria. She learned to read at age 45, and she told me that before literacy, she knew only her village language. What happened after? She read about other countries, different ways of living, historical figures who inspired her. She said, I lived in a small box for 45 years, and someone finally opened the lid.
Wow, that's powerful, Lizzie.
That comes perfectly with the research. Snow, Burns, and Griffin's 1998 study, which has been foundational in literacy, research shows that strong literacy skills are the foundation of all areas of learning. Once you have that foundation, the entire architecture of knowledge becomes accessible.
Precisely. Literacy doesn't just broaden horizon, it fundamentally transforms how individuals see themselves in relation to the world. It's cognitive liberation.
Okay, cognitive liberation. I want everyone listening and watching to really sit with that phrase. Literacy isn't neutral, it is transformative. Now let's talk about how this transformation affects real-world opportunities. So, Ms. Lisi, are you up?
Thanks, Leonella. Yes, I'm up. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about jobs. And let's talk about the economic mobility, because this is where literacy's power becomes incredibly concrete, sir.
Okay.
Lizzie is not mincing words today.
No time to. Look, the World Bank's 2018 World Development Report is crystal clear on this. Literacy improves both employability and income levels. And why? Because in virtually every job sector, you need reading, writing, and communication skills.
Can you break down what that looks like in practice for us?
Sure. Think about the job applications. Even for the basic positions, you need to read job descriptions. To fill out the applications, you need to understand contracts. Already, non-literate individuals are locked out, but it goes much deeper. In the literacy program I mentioned earlier, we track participants' employment outcomes. Before the program, most worked in informal, low-wage sectors, manual labor, domestic work. These are important jobs, but they offer limited income and no security.
And after literacy training,
After 6 months of literacy training, 67% of our participants either advanced in their current jobs or found new employment with better pay. One man started reading manuals and became a certified electrician. You see, another woman began keeping records for small business and was promoted to manager.
That aligns perfectly with the research literature.
Absolutely. Snow, Burns, and Griffin's 1998 research, which I mentioned earlier, establishes that literacy skills are foundational to success in all areas of learning. This creates a cascade effect. Literacy enables formal education completion, which enables access to higher education, which enables acquisition of specialized job skills.
Or you see, it's a ladder. Each rung depends on the one below it, and literacy is the very first rung.
So what you're saying, Ms. Lucy, is that literacy is the gateway skill?
Exactly. The World Bank data shows that countries with higher literacy rates have stronger economies. Why? Because literate populations are more productive, more innovative, more adaptable to economic changes. And on an individual level, literacy creates what Kofi Annan calls alternatives for building a better life. Without literacy, your economic options are severely limited. With literacy, you can retrain for new careers. You can start businesses, negotiate fair wages, and understand financial information.
and it's especially crucial for marginalized communities, women, rural populations, refugees. When they gain literacy, they gain an economic agency.
Let me add a critical point here. The research shows that literacy economic impact isn't just about individual earnings, it's intergenerational. Literate parents are more likely to ensure their children receive education, creating cycles of opportunity rather than cycles of poverty.
So basically what we're saying is that literacy breaks poverty cycles?
Yes, it do. The data is unequivocal. Literacy is one of the most powerful tools for economic empowerment and social mobility ever identified. As Anand said, it increases opportunities, and those opportunities are measurable, real, and life-changing.
And this brings us beautifully to our third argument.
Which is about more than just economics. Now, Ms. Vanessa and Tricia, talk to us about social participation and the informed life choice. How does literacy empower people as citizens and community members?
Leonella, this is where literacy moves from personal empowerment to social transformation. Paulo Freire, in his groundbreaking 1970 work, Pedagogy of the Oppressed, argued that literacy helps people understand social realities and challenge inequality.
Perry's work revolutionized how we think about literacy.
Exactly, because literacy isn't politically neutral. When people can read, they can understand their rights. They can access civic information. They can engage in democratic processes, and they can move from being passive subjects to active citizens.
Okay, give us an example of what that looks like.
Okay, practical example, voting. In many democracies, casting an informed vote requires reading candidate platforms, understanding ballot initiatives, following political debates. Non-literate citizens can still vote, but their ability to make truly informed choices is compromised.
And oh, it's not just about voting, it's understanding legal documents, health information, consumer rights, educational opportunities for your children.
Employment contracts, banking information, government services.
Medical prescriptions, safety warnings, legal rights.
Okay, I'm hearing that literacy touches everything in civic life.
That's exactly the point. Literacy enables what we call informed participation. Without literacy, you're navigating systems you can't fully understand. You're vulnerable to exploitation, misinformation, and exclusion.
And that's where Freir's concept of conscientization comes in. That's consciousness raising through literacy. When people learn to read, they don't just decode words, they learn to read the world. As Freire puts it, they understand power structures, recognize injustice, and gain tools to advocate for change.
So in our literacy program that I carried out, we had a group of women who, after learning to read, discovered they were being underpaid compared to legal minimum wages. They used their new literacy skills to research labor laws, write complaints, and successfully advocate for their fair pay.
That's empowerment in action.
Absolutely. And beyond economic rights, literacy empowers better personal and family decisions. The research shows literate parents make more informed healthcare choices, better understand nutrition information, and engage more effectively with their children's education.
UNESCO's 2021 report emphasizes this holistic impact. Literacy strengthens not just individual confidence, but entire community development. When literacy rate rise in a community, you see improvements in public health, civic engagement, social cohesion, and democratic participation.
It's a multiplier effect.
So what I'm hearing is that literacy is fundamental about voice and agency in society.
Yes, literacy gives people the tools to understand their circumstances, articulate their needs, and participate fully in shaping their communities and societies. As Anand said, it creates alternatives for building a better life. And those alternatives include the power to engage in democratic processes, access public services, and make informed decisions that affect everyday aspects of life.
And this is why we so strongly agree with Kofi Annan's statement. The research evidence across educational, economic, and social domains consistently demonstrate that literacy is genuinely empowering.
So we have covered a lot of ground in our discussion. Now, before we wrap up, I want to go around the table one more time. Give me one sentence, just one, about why we agree with Kofi Annan's view that literacy is empowering. Dr. Jaidevi, start us off.
Okay, sure. Literacy transforms individuals from passive recipients of information to active seekers of knowledge, fundamentally expanding their intellectual horizons.
Literacy is the master key that unlocks economic opportunities and breaks intergenerational cycles of poverty.
Literacy gave Maria and thousands like her the ability to dream beyond what they thought was possible.
Literacy converts subjects into citizens, giving people the voice and tools to participate fully in a democratic society.
Research is unequivocal. Literacy is the foundation upon which all other forms of education, economic mobility, and social participation are built.
Beautiful. Now, let me synthesize what we've discussed today because I want our viewers to walk away with clarity about our position. Now, Kofi Annan stated that acquiring literacy is empowering. Is an empowering process, enabling millions to enjoy access to knowledge and information, which broadens horizons, increases opportunities, and creates alternatives for building a better life. Now, we have presented three interconnected arguments supporting this position, all grounded in solid research. First, literacy broadens horizons by providing access to knowledge and information, as UNESCO 2021 reports confirm. Literacy enables critical thinking and informed decision making. Without literacy, individuals remain dependent on others for information, limiting independence and understanding. With literacy, people can explore ideas, cultures, and possibilities beyond their immediate environment. Now, secondly, literacy significantly increases educational and economic opportunities. The research by Snow, Burns, and Griffin demonstrates that literacy skills are fundamental in all learning. The World Bank's 2018 report shows that literacy improves employability and economic levels because virtually all jobs require reading, writing, and communication skills. This creates real alternatives for escaping poverty and achieving economic independence. Now, third, literacy empowers social participation and informed life choices. Paulo Freire work shows us that literacy helps people understand social realities and challenge inequality. Literate individuals can understand their rights, access civic information, engage in democratic processes, and make better decisions about health, legal matters, and public services.
And critically, all of this is supported by decades of research across multiple disciplines.
Exactly. The evidence is overwhelming. Now, I want to close with a question for all of us. What do we want people to do with this information?
Support literacy programs, volunteer, donate, advocate.
Lovely.
Recognize the literacy education isn't just about individuals, it's about building stronger, more equitable societies.
Wonderful.
Understand that investing in literacy is one of the most effective investments in economic development possible.
And never take literacy for granted. It's a privilege that opens every door.
Those are powerful calls to action. As we close, I want to return to Maria's words, the woman that we talked about, who learned to read at age 4 to 5. She said literacy opened a lid on the small box she lived in for years. That's what we're talking about when we discuss empowerment. We're talking about removing limits. We're talking about opening possibilities and opportunities for others. We're talking about giving people the tools to build the lives they deserve. Kaufman was absolutely right. Literacy is empowering. We are talking, it broadens horizons through knowledge access. It increases opportunities through economic mobility. It creates alternatives through social participation and informed choice. The research proves it. Sorry. The lived experiences confirm it. And our responsibility as educators is to ensure that everyone experiences this, regardless of age, background, or circumstances, and that they have access to this fundamental human rights.
Thank you for joining our discussion.
And with this, it has been an incredible conversation to our viewers and listeners. Now, remember, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep advocating for universal literacy. Now, until next time, goodbye.
Bye.